I have 2.5 million of life insurance on myself and 1.5 million on my wife.
Yahoo! We're rich!
Honestly, it's one of the bills I feel best about paying because it helps me sleep better at night, knowing our family has protection in place. But those are my numbers. Yours could be totally different. So in this video, I'm gonna show you exactly how to think about life insurance, how much you may need, and when you may not need it anymore. If you died tomorrow, would the people you love be financially okay? That's a hard question, but it's the real question that life insurance is meant to answer. Because life insurance usually isn't about you. It's about the people that rely on you financially. Your spouse, your kids, your family, or anyone whose life would change if your income disappeared. A lot of people put life insurance off for years. They tell themselves, I'm still young, I'll deal with it later on, or I'll get to it next year. But waiting can just make the process harder. In many cases, your coverage could get more expensive as you get older, and your health could change, which could affect your options. And more importantly, I just want to help you avoid buying the wrong policy for the wrong reasons, because life insurance is one of those topics where people often get sold a product before they're taught how to actually think about that decision. So if you have a spouse, kids, debt, or anyone depending on your income, this is a very important topic to understand. So let's jump in. I want to start off by saying this up front. Life insurance is one of those financial decisions that's easy to delay. It's not exciting, it's not fun, and nobody wakes up saying, today's the day I'm finally gonna shop for life insurance. But if people depend on you financially, this is one of the foundational planning decisions that deserves attention. Personally, having life insurance gives me peace of mind. I've got a wife and 3 boys who depend on my income. And if something happened to me earlier than expected, I'd want them to have the financial stability and time to adjust. At its best, that's what life insurance can do. It can help provide income replacement, help with debt or housing costs, and breathing room, especially in a really difficult season. Now, before we get into the policy types, here's something important. Please be careful about taking life insurance advice from anyone whose compensation depends on what you buy. That does not automatically mean the recommendation is bad, but it does mean you should just slow down, take your time, ask questions, and understand what problem the policy is supposed to solve. If someone recommends a policy, it's worth asking, why this type of life insurance? Why this amount? How long do I need it? What are the costs? What are the trade-offs? And do you get a commission from this purchase? A second opinion can be very valuable, especially if it comes from someone who is not being paid based off of your decision. So with that said, let's simplify the landscape. There are 2 broad categories: term insurance and permanent life insurance. Permanent life insurance is designed to stay in force for your lifetime, as long as the premiums are paid. These policies can often include a cash value component, and this category includes things like whole life, universal life, indexed universal life, variable universal life, and other variations. Permanent insurance can make sense in certain situations, but it's usually more of a specialized planning tool. For example, it might come up in some cases involving legacy planning, special needs planning, business planning situations, or some situations where someone wants a death benefit that is intended to last for a lifetime. But let's be real, for many families, term insurance is the first option to evaluate because term insurance is often simpler, easier to understand, and often much more affordable. With term insurance, you buy a coverage that lasts for a set of period of time, maybe 10, 20, or 30 years. And if you die during that term, your beneficiaries receive a death benefit. If you outlive the term, the coverage ends. And that's the basic structure. And for a lot of people, that lines up well with the actual goal, covering the years when others most financially depend on you. For example, while the kids are at home, while the mortgage is still large, or while your retirement savings are still being built up, or maybe if one spouse is heavily reliant on the other spouse's income. That's why term insurance is often the most practical place to get started. By the way, these are the types of conversations we have with clients every day at Flames Financial Planning. Our flagship clients receive investment management, financial planning, tax filing, and estate planning, all included in a high-touch white glove membership. Okay, so what about life insurance at work? Do you need extra coverage above that? If you're employed, you may already have some life insurance through your employer. A common setup is group life insurance, where your employer provides something like 1x salary at no cost. That's a great benefit, but let's not assume that that's automatically enough for you and your family. For some households, employer coverage may only cover a small portion of the real need, and there's another consideration. Coverage through work may change or end if you leave the employer. So if you're relying heavily on your employer coverage, it's often worth reviewing whether that amount would actually be enough for your family and whether you'd want to add additional personal coverage that stays with you regardless of your job. Now you might be asking yourself, how much life insurance do I really need? Ask yourself 2 questions. Question 1, would your death create a financial problem for someone you care about? If the answer is yes, life insurance may be worth considering seriously, and then we move on to question 2. If I died, what financial problems would show up immediately? And how much money would it take to solve them? This is where a lot of people just start guessing, and I really wouldn't recommend that. A better approach is to walk through a calculator or planning worksheet that thinks about the actual financial impact your family would face if you weren't here. Here are some of the biggest categories to consider: income replacement, mortgage or rent, debt payoff, childcare, college funding, funeral expenses, emergency fund, or any obligations that your family would need to handle. So the right amount is going to depend on your situation. Someone with 3 young kids and a mortgage may have a very different amount than someone with no dependents, significant assets, or no major debts. That's really the key issue here: financial dependency. Okay, so maybe you have life insurance, but when or should you even cancel that at some point in your life? This is the part a lot of people don't realize. Life insurance is often not something you need forever. In many cases, the need for life insurance declines as your financial situation gets stronger. For example, you might be able to reduce or cancel your coverage when your kids are financially independent, debts are paid down, retirement assets are built up, or no one is relying on your income anymore. That doesn't mean everyone should just cancel their coverage at the same age or life stage. It just means that the decision should be tied to your actual financial need, not autopilot for 50 years. And as your assets become more accessible, your obligations decrease. As you get older, the need for income replacement typically also decreases. Okay, so here's the bottom line. If someone depends on you financially, life insurance is worth reviewing. For many families, term insurance is the first type to evaluate, and your employer coverage can be helpful, but it also might not be enough by itself. The right amount should be based on your actual obligations and goals. And the need for life insurance often changes over your lifetime. Most importantly, don't make this decision based on pressure. Take your time, ask the questions, understand the purpose of the policy you're reviewing, and always get a second opinion. Do not let your indecision drag on forever, because while life insurance may not be the most exciting financial topic, it can be one of the most meaningful planning tools for protecting the people you love. And if putting the right coverage in place gives your family more stability, more options, and more peace of mind if the worst ever happened, that is a decision worth taking seriously. If you learned something new in this video, hit that like button and hit that subscribe button for more informational videos just like this. I will see you next time.